Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another video of Ivan's Wheels. Here we are today at Hyundai and I'm going to give you a review of the Hyundai IONIQ 5. So, the IONIQ 5 was revealed in February 2021 as Hyundai's flagship EV, and 2 years later, it's finally come to our shores. As for the basics, it gets a 72 kWh battery pack with an ARAI claimed range of 631 kilometers, and for less than 50 lakh rupees on road, it gets you some pretty striking looks. Now looks, that's probably the most remarkable thing about the IONIQ 5. Let's start off with the front. Now the entire car is based on this neo-retro theme. So for example, you get these headlights which are like rectangles, and Hyundai calls it the parametric pixel LED headlights. Now this being an EV, as you can see, there's no grille at the front, whereas it's just this flat slab of grey and black. You also have this camera and these sensors for the ADAS system. Moving on to the side, you notice that the overhangs at the front are pretty short. Then we have this really intricate and beautiful looking 20-inch alloy wheels which have Michelin Pilot Sport EV rubber clad onto them. And then there are these wheel arches which have these crazy cuts and lines on them which also look pretty beautiful. You don't really see attention being given to the wheel arches, but that's done here with the IONIQ 5. Moving down the side, on the body panels of the doors, you have these insane diagonal lines which just run across the body, and you also get flush door handles. So while the side is quite busy with cuts and creases, you also have these flush door handles which makes it look clean at the same time. The charge port on the IONIQ 5 is located right here, which you can open by holding this button on the nice key. There you go. Now even here they've continued with the pixel neo-retro theme. You get these nice pixels here. Now you also have this adapter which you get when you buy an IONIQ 5, which you can use to operate the vehicle to load or the V2L system. Now this is extremely cool. So what that does is, suppose your electricity supply of your residence gets cut off, you can use the IONIQ 5 to power other appliances, or if you're on a vacation on a beach, you can use IONIQ 5's battery to operate something like an air compressor to fill a beach ball. I mean, how cool is that? Now from the back, you notice that the IONIQ 5 has a really prominent coupe-like roofline. Now an interesting thing here, the IONIQ 5 doesn't get a rear wiper. So the way it's engineered such that the air will come from the top here, and it will push back all the raindrops or the dust. So we'll have to wait to see how well that actually works. Now continuing with the neo-retro vibe, you get this light bar at the back which has this really cool pixel lights into them. There's also this nice IONIQ 5 lettering at the back. Let's open the boot. Got it. Electrically operated as expected. Now the boot capacity is 527 liters, and that might sound good at first, but when you factor in that this is a pretty large car, it's the size of a Mercedes GLC, but it does not get a spare wheel and the loading lip is quite high. However, you can fit a fair amount of stuff in it. The IONIQ 5 also gets a 57-liter Frunk in addition to the boot, where you can store stuff like charging cables. Now we are in the interior of the Hyundai IONIQ 5. So first impressions, it's a really beautiful and tastefully done interior, and it's very different from the other Hyundais. Let's start off with these seats. Now these seats are absolutely incredible. One of the best seats I've been in. So in the normal position, they're nice and wide, they're supportive, but they also go into this crazy sleep mode. Have a look. The IONIQ 5 is the perfect place if you want to have a nice nap. The seats also have a lot of adjustability, and they also have this really nice footrest both for the passenger and the driver. So I suspect for long distance travel, this is going to be a very comfortable car. Coming to the steering wheel now, the first thing you notice is that there is no Hyundai badge on it. Instead, there are just these 4 pixel-like dots on it. So a weird touch, but I like it. There's also this drive mode selector on the steering wheel, which reminds me of the Porsche drive selector. However, this is not a rotary selector, you just push it to select. Now taking center stage here are these twin 12.3-inch displays. Now the main infotainment screen is a really nice unit. It's pretty responsive and I really like the UI of it. It's really easy to use and intuitive. The second 12.3-inch display is your digital instrument cluster. This is a really cool design and very unusual and quirky, like the rest of the vibe of this car. Now, in case you're wondering where the gear selector in the IONIQ 5 is, it's actually mounted on the steering column where you rotate it to put it into gear. Now, the benefits of this car being an EV show on the inside, primarily with the practicality of this car. So as I said before, it's based on Hyundai's eGMP platform, which is a skateboard electric car only platform. So one of the really quirky things in the interior is this entire center console, which if you just grab it here, you can move the entire thing front and back. So that gives you a cabin which you can literally walk through. Then let's start off with the glove box, which very unusually opens up like a drawer. Down here you have a 12-volt socket, a USB-A type port and a decent space to store stuff. We have 2 cup holders here, a wireless charging pad and a humongous space which you can just throw in anything you want. Beneath the very comfortable center armrest, you have another storage space and you get the usual bottle holders. So on the whole, it's a really practical car. The Hyundai IONIQ 5 also has a sustainable theme going on the inside. So Hyundai has used plant-based paints, recycled paperette and recycled plastics. So the environmentalists will like this too. On the feature front, you also get a Bose sound system, the usual connected car features, and you also get a multi-view parking camera which shows you all around the car. Now we are in the back seat of the Hyundai IONIQ 5. Now this seat is set to a comfortable position for the front passenger, but the really cool thing here is you have these buttons here from which you can move the position of the front seat, which is often in India referred to as boss mode. Now these seats are also incredibly comfortable, padding very nice just like the front seats. However, it's nice and wide as well, and there are these really nice pillows you get, which is kind of like more luxurious cars like Mercedes S-classes. Now the entire back seat can also move forward or backward, as you can see right now, so as to create more area in the boot. A center armrest as usual, which I find a little narrow with pretty small cup holders, but does it really matter? Not really. You get 2 USB-A type ports and another storage space. Now the IONIQ 5 also gets a fixed glass roof, so for the passengers at the back, there's an amazing view of the sky. Space is good as well. There's a really nice amount of knee room. However, when the front seat is set to a lower position, footroom isn't great. Being in the back here, I just can't stop thinking how good the quality of this car is. I'm really impressed that Hyundai's offered this level of materials and build quality at a very reasonable price point actually. 2 really cool features for the Indian summer, pun intended, is that you get these aircon vents mounted on the B pillars right here, and then there are these sunshades, an absolute boon for the Indian summers. As for the safety features, the Hyundai IONIQ 5 gets 6 airbags, ABS, ESC, a tire pressure monitor, hill start assist, ISOFIX child seat mounts and ADAS Level 2. The Hyundai IONIQ 5 uses a 72.6 kWh battery pack. It produces 350 Nm with an electric motor which produces 217 horsepower mounted on the rear axle. So the IONIQ 5 is a rear wheel drive, and along with the low center of gravity because of the battery pack mounted on the floor, means it should be pretty easy to drift. My final verdict. Now, the Hyundai IONIQ 5 is an extremely impressive car. Priced at Rs 44.95 lakh rupees ex-showroom India, it's one of the few cars at this price point which actually feels like good value for money. It has some insane looks which will turn a lot of heads. Personally, I love it. It gets some very plush interiors, and on the whole, it feels like a nice and complete package which is extremely appealing. If you like this video, please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to never miss any of my new uploads. Follow me on Instagram at Vivans_wheels, where you'll get the latest updates to the videos I'm working on and other automotive news.